on buying books. It was just supposed to be a quick stop. I was going to quickly check the manga, see if they had a few Yon of the Dawn volumes. They didn't. I didn't really expect them to. But I only pass by that bookstore very rarely, like once a month. So when I do, I have to at least stop. But then I kept picking things up, and now I bought 7 books, which isn't bad, but it is 7 more books than I had before. But it's okay. So I really wasn't expecting to buy books, but I went to the horror section, and I kept picking things up. I think 4 of the books I got alone were from the horror section. I usually don't have such good luck in horror specifically. Every time I walk into like a used bookstore or like half price books or something like that, I pretty much anticipate the horror section just being like Stephen King and Dean Koontz. And while that was true, there was a lot of Stephen King and a lot of Dean Koontz. There was still a lot of books intermixed in there that I had on my Goodreads TBR, so I just started grabbing. And here we are. I wanted to make this its own video just because I did end up taking a little bit of footage of just that shopping experience. These will probably end up in a bigger haul / unboxing video I am planning to do. I was hoping to have those packages already, but I don't. I'm waiting on a few more packages, so these will be in that, but I won't talk about them there. I'll just show them. So only in this video am I going to actually talk about these books and what they're about or what I think that they're about. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the very first book that I saw and I grabbed was Come Closer by Sarah Gran. This is a book that it has like the trope of mental illness or demonic possession. So right off the bat, if you're not into that trope, you're definitely not going to be into this book. I actually do like that trope, but we'll see if I like the book. It's a lot shorter of a book than I thought it would be. I didn't realize it was a short story. I had heard somebody talk about it before, but yeah, it's only like 165 pages. So it is very short of a story, and I'm excited. So yeah. Next up, this book I actually did not realize was a book originally. I have seen the movie adaptation to this, and I totally love the movie adaptation to it. It's like one of my guilty pleasures. It's not necessarily like a fantastic movie, but I just totally loved it. So I'm really excited to read the book now because I do like the story a lot. So I'm excited to see how much deeper the book goes and how it compares to the movie. And that is Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. And yeah, so this pretty much has to do with a zombie who didn't fully, I guess, transition into zombie, and he's still holding on to a lot of his human consciousness, but with a very heavy veil of zombie over him, if that makes sense. And one day he happens to see a girl who is 100% human, like she's not part zombie, and he doesn't have the urge to eat her. And instead it says something inside of him begins to bloom. So he sees this woman and he starts to feel more human than he even was before. And I don't know if it goes with the same thing that the movie does, but in the movie a romance blossoms from that. I don't know if it goes exactly in that direction in this book, but I will find out and I will tell you guys, and I'm really excited to read this one. It may be a book that I read very soon, and yeah, I'm excited. And what I really like about this book is in the beginning of the chapters, the author has the Grey's Anatomy type style diagrams, and like I know that that's like who cares, but I love details like that in books. I just thought that was really cool, so I like it. So it earns bonus points for me. Next up, I picked up 12 Nights at Rotterhouse by J.W. Acker. This one I've seen a few people talk about, and I've seen a little bit of mixed reviews. But I think that the general idea is that we have an author who has been writing about creepy destinations, and he decides to write his next book on Rotterhouse. So he decides to go to this house and kind of seal himself in there. But he also invites a friend that he actually hasn't talked to in like a year, but he decides to invite him to go with him. And yeah, I don't know if like paranormal stuff starts to happen after that, or if it's kind of more whatever happened a year ago comes up and they're just haunted by like their past, or I don't know. I don't really know if it's true paranormal, true supernatural, or more of like, you know, that metaphorical, your past haunting you, or they have things that they need to work through. I don't know. I don't really know. But, or it could just be like a ghost, one of those like ghost mysteries, you know, like the ghost is trying to tell them what happened to them in their past, why they died. I don't know. I have no idea. I could read the back, but I'm not going to. I have a very open mind on what this might be about. I just know that there's a creepy house and 2 guys, and that's it. Okay, this book is also a book that I knew it was a book, and then they made it a movie, and I have already seen the movie, and I did like the movie, but I wanted to read the book, and that is The Ritual by Adam Neville. I read my first Adam Neville book last year, The Vessel, and it was so good. It was a short story. It was just fantastic. It was actually in my top books of 2022. If you want to check that video out, I talk about it a lot more there. But I saw this, and yeah, I decided to pick it up. This has to do with a group of friends, of guy friends, that decide to go out on a hike. And I think that I don't know, something happens, they get lost or something like that. And then they end up getting into a like situation where I think that more folk type and ritualistic, I mean, just say ritual, but more folk type, ritualistic, very weird kind of horror starts to take place. Just from the 2 books that I have interacted with Adam Neville, it seems like he very much enjoys folk type horror. So yeah, this is another one where I'm not going to read the back. I know what I know about the movie, but they may have gone totally off course. I don't know how close it is to the book. So I'm just going to go right into the book and see what happens. Now, this is the only book that I picked up that was not on my TBR at all, and I've never heard of it, but the cover kind of caught my eye. It's definitely like probably indie published, but the cover caught my eye, and it only had like, I think 400 ratings on Goodreads, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. It was $5, and that is The Witch's Tower by Tamara Grantham, I don't know. But what really caught my eye was on the cover, it says, "Save Rapunzel, save the witch." So I thought that was interesting. So this is obviously a retelling of the Rapunzel story, and that's kind of all I know. It does say more on the back a little bit, but I just kind of want to go into it knowing that. I don't know when I'll read this. It probably won't be for a while, to be totally honest. I thought it sounded interesting. I do like the story of Rapunzel. I think that story itself is already so dark. So I'm interested to see what a retelling does with that story. And yeah, I don't necessarily have high expectations for this book, but you never know. So next up, we have The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is another story that I don't know like too much about. Obviously, it's about witches, and I think it jumps between past things going on and then present day, and it may or may not kind of draw a line between the two. I think it just has very feminist tones to the story. Obviously, witches are involved, and yeah, I think it connects like the suffrages with the witches, and I don't know. I'm excited to see what it does with the story. I think that that's an interesting premise to begin with. And I haven't heard too many people talk about this, but the people I have heard talk about it did enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to this. I actually almost bought it a few months ago. I was in the bookstore and I had this in my hand and The Age of Witches by Louise Morgan because I wanted a witchy book. I ended up buying Age of Witches, which ended up being not so great of a book, not at all the type of book I like, and it's actually my worst books of 2022 if you want to check that video out. And so I was like, okay, well, redemption time, I guess I need to read the other book that I was potentially going to get when I bought that one. So here it is. I pretty frequently get into a type of headspace where I want witchy stories, so I'm sure it won't be that long before I read this one. And yeah, cover's beautiful, love it. It's got like those edges that are like, I don't know, all different lengths or whatever. It's very, I don't know, textually, I like it. So last book that I picked up, quite literally, I think I showed you guys the books literally in the order that I picked them up in. But next we have Strange the Dreamer by Lonnie Taylor. This is a book that I have zero knowledge of what it's really about. like at all. Like pretty much for the most part, all the books I have a general understanding of what they're about. This one, all I know is it's fantasy. And that's it. I don't even know what type of fantasy. I don't know if it's whimsical. I don't know if it's brutal. I don't know. But I have seen so many people say such good things about this book. I don't think I've seen anybody say anything bad about this book. So there's that. So I decided to pick it up because it was $10, hardcover. Yes, easy yes, right? Exactly. So I picked it up. It's so pretty. I love it. And yeah, I'm not even going to read what it's about. I'm just going to jump into it one day. So here is our book stack of what we got from Half Price Books. I think it was pretty good. It was a pretty good trip. I don't like to buy too many books at once because then I get so overwhelmed by wanting to read all of the new books that I get that all of the books that have been waiting to be read get pushed away even further. But I couldn't help myself. I feel like I found some really good books. I'm excited to read all of these. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to spend it with me. That means the absolute world. Let me know what books you have recently picked up. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing for future content. Give the video a thumbs up, all the fun YouTube things, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.